History Month, we are going to be looking at a hymn. It's page number 6 in your songbooks, Beneath the Cross of Jesus. And I appreciate my wife playing. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to sing the first verse and then tell you a little bit about this hymn, page number 6, Beneath the Cross of Jesus. Beneath the cross of Jesus, I fain would take my stand. The shadow of a mighty rock within a weary land, a home within the wilderness, a rest upon the way from the burning of the noontide heat and the burden of the day. This song, if you look up at the top left-hand corner, is written by a lady by the name of Elizabeth C. Clephane. And the author here, she was born in Edinburgh, which is in Scotland. She was born, but had a very short life. She actually passed away at the age of 39 in 1869. A year before that, this song was written. She was a very quiet little child in her youth, often wasn't noticed, and often was absorbed in books. The loss of both of her parents at an early age already taught her a lot about sorrow. But she grew up recognized as one of the cleverest in her family, first in her class, and a favorite in her school. She had a love for poetry, and with a great passion, she often wrote poems. And even though sick and suffering, she had the nickname of My Sunbeam. She often was referred to as such because she was always with smiles, even though in the midst of her suffering. As a matter of fact, it kind of gives a different sense of meaning when you look at this third verse where it says, I take, O cross, thy shadow for my abiding place. I ask no other sunshine than the sunshine of his face. Here writing about a cross, which is often one of the cruelest, if not the most cruelest sense of torture, and yet she's finding solace in the shadow of the cross, not because of the cross in and of itself, but because of what was accomplished on the cross and who hung there. She often spent time helping the poor, raising money for the unfortunate. It was even said at one point in time that her and her sister sold their horse and carriage just to help out a needy family. And in the idea of the solace that she was able to have irregardless of the type of suffering that she may have in her life, the sufferings of others in their life, she knew that with Jesus Christ, that they could have hope. It was much a great thing that this particular poem that she wrote was discovered by Ira Sankey, who was the song leader for D.L. Moody after her death. And in his autobiography, he wrote, the author of this hymn, Elizabeth Clephane, also wrote the widely known hymn, the 90 and 9. And those two were her only hymns. The first time this hymn was sung is still fresh in my memory. The morning after I had composed the music, Reverend W.H. Aitken was to speak at our mission in London. Before the sermon, I sang Beneath the Cross of Jesus as a solo. And as is in the case of the 90 and 9, much blessing came from its use for the first time. With eyes filled with tears and deeply moved, the preacher said to the audience, Dear friends, I had intended to speak to you this morning upon work for the Master, but this new hymn has made such an impression on my heart, and evidently upon your own, that I will defer my proposed address and speak to you on the cross of Jesus. The hymn music that you're hearing right now was actually not written by Ira Sankey. It was written by a different composer later on by the name of Frederick C. Maker. There's another version of music that goes along with this hymn. I found it, and if you're interested in it, I'd be happy to show it to you. You can easily YouTube it and look for the Sankey version. But all respect to Ira Sankey, I've heard this version so much. I love this version the most. And I would like us, just in thought of the message of the song, and that we can have solace in the shadow of the cross, I would like for us to sing together that third verse of "I take, O cross, thy shadow for my abiding place," as we can hide in his wings throughout all happiness and sadness. On the third, as we sing, "I take, O cross, thy shadow for my abiding place. I ask no other sunshine than the sunshine of his face, content to let the world go by, to know no gain nor loss. My sinful self, my only shame, my glory, all the cross." We thank the Lord for the hymns that he's given to us. Amen.